of the, I'm not a fan of the ideals that define mentoring as we explain it. I just believe that human beings are born for a type of conditioning, and that at different times in our lives, we all will have the opportunity to be empowered by the conditioning of others. And we owe it to life and to destiny to be that strong for others and help them as much as we can with the capacity we can afford for their own conditioning, right? I celebrate you, FJ, because you have been an encourager yourself. What is easy is for you to say, you know, how I've been there for you. But honestly, it's not like I have a choice. Like, I guess it's the least of what one can do. You are a soldier yourself. You will do better on your own. You know, I don't claim any form of notoriety to the human you have become. I celebrate your focus. I celebrate your energy. You know, there are countless times that I've been able to show up when you needed me. There are probably more times that I couldn't show up when you needed me. And those times didn't stop you because, you know, you are a force and you are regulated inside out. I don't worry about people who are internally regulated. I don't bother at all. I'm more bothered about people who don't have regulation or who are regulated outside in. You know, the moment you are regulated outside in, you are weak. It doesn't matter who is supporting you outside in. It's only a matter of time. You are going to crack. You will crack so foolishly, you won't believe it yourself, right? Strength has to be authentic and true. And the purest form of that is inside out. It doesn't matter if you are a Christian or you're a Muslim or you are Buddhist, you are, you know, inside out strength is God's gift to the human condition. And, you know, to be a Christian is a different conversation altogether. But as a human being, there's performance in our soul, there's performance in our lives. And when we make up our mind to radiate that level of performance, the world will feel it. It doesn't matter who approves, who validate you. I'm a freeborn. I was born free, I will die free. I wake up every morning, I don't think of anybody's validation or approval. If I try to do that, I will make a mockery of my journey. There are too many people out there in the world who value what you represent. It will be a big loss for you to pretend that you don't know and focus on a few people who disagree. You know, the loss will not be that, you know, they disagreed with you. The loss will be that you paid attention to it. And that's not who you are. So, Femi, I celebrate you. A day like this is expected for me. I expect these days to come for you. Bigger days are still ahead of you. You know, I know you are not going to camp around this because this is the least that you can do. Our world has changed, whether we understand it or not. The world is completely new. The operating system running the world, the software running the world has changed. The burden of change, though, is nobody feels it. You know, it's just like the day a woman gets pregnant. She doesn't hear bones moving in her body. But on that day, in that very moment, she's pregnant with a new generation. But she's not going to feel anything. She's going to get up like nothing has happened after sex. But if you give it 3 months, she's going to see a big baby forming there. You know, if you kiss someone that is, you know, COVID positive, you don't feel a sharp pain in your mouth telling you that, oh, you've contracted COVID. You don't feel anything. You enjoy the kiss, you get up, you walk away. But something capable of destroying your life has come into your body in that moment and is noiseless. So real change has no noise. The day David was anointed king, nobody felt it, you know, and he didn't have the crown until after about 17 years or so. Saul was rejected as king in the Bible for over 17 years. He was still on the throne. I'm sure in the 10th year, he must have said to himself, this Samuel is a fool. How can I be rejected and I'm still here 10 years after? I'm sure by the 15th year, he must have said, oh, this Samuel is definitely, his words are falling to the ground now. 15 years after I was rejected, I'm still king. And there are so many crowns on the heads of people who are out of the game, but they don't know, because change has not caught up with them, even though change has begun. Some people are loyal to a typewriter when the computer is on the way. And FJ, let me tell you, all your friends who are online today, where the world is now is where we were when typewriter was leaving and computer was coming. That's where we are right now. And there are so many people who are loyal to what they have known, but what they are going to forget is you can't be loyal to what is working and forget is going to change. You can't be. The Jews missed that. The Kodak missed that. Yahoo missed that. Nokia missed that. I mean, people forget that what actually ended the capacity of Nokia was design. It wasn't technology. It was just the design of phones initiated by Apple. It was design that began all the crisis of Nokia. Just design. Nokia 3310 is still one of the most unbeatable technology in the world today, but it can't scale because some other priorities are on the block that they did not see. So I want to encourage everyone on this platform to go out of their way to invest in the 48 laws of selling and to participate in sharing the idea with so many other people, because Femi has one of the sharpest minds, around to pick what is avant-garde. And when I began to speak about he has attempted to credit me with the origin of this book. I'm grateful that I represent that. If I wasn't sharp enough to begin to speak on the weights of the 2020s and beginning with 2020 COVID and driving in the intelligence of borderlessness, Femi will still run into it somehow because it's destiny. But I thank God that I did it and then he plugged into it. And I knew from then when we spoke that this is not just the end of this idea for FJ. FJ is going to show up with something as it continues to move, because that's what it does. Few people can run with ideas, like he doesn't rest until it's done. He's just going to get it out. That's FJ for you. And that spirit is in this material as well. And I'm so happy in the format. You also presented the book. You are not trying to do a physical book. You're not trying, maybe you do a physical book later for those who request it, but the best format of knowledge now is digital. The CEO of Rolls-Royce have said years ago that we are going to speak less and less of developing, and underdeveloped nations. We're going to speak more and more of smarter, and smartest nations. It's just what it is. Countries that are smarter, who can author their contents in digital format, they are the pride and the leaders of the future. And online is the line now. And I want to challenge everyone, whatever it is you are doing right now, please remember that offline is backdoor now. Online is the front door to whatever you do, right? Before COVID, offline was front door and online was backdoor. After COVID, the summary of everything is online is the front door to what you do. If people cannot come in to your work from online, primarily as the dominant door to your work, you are jogging very fast into irrelevance, regardless of your prevailing history of performance. It is not in the future to work offline as backdoor. Offline is backdoor, online is front door. And whatever you do, and in Forex. In 2020, I predicted that dollar will be over 600 bucks.
Yes.
That has happened. But those who listen to that session know that is not all I said. I said, if you don't manage it well, we are still going to over 1,000. I do pray that people recognize that. But to be paying 700 bucks for $1, it doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense again, therefore, to be making your money in your local currency. It doesn't make sense. You have to find a way to connect to a dollar economy, right? Because money made in dollar is the security of the embarrassment of your own environment. It's just your protection. So whatever you do, ask yourself, how can they pay me money from Paris, from Belgium, from Brazil, from New York, from Dallas? How can this happen to me? It's just not enough to have a website or to begin to charge in dollars. But how can people in the world pay me? That is where FJ is going. That's the work he's doing. This is just a beginning. It's just like when the gospel began in Jerusalem. But the gospel is all over the world now. So this is just Jerusalem for FJ. FJ is high in the whole world. And so he's practicing what he is preaching. So thank you, FJ, for your strength and for putting all of this out. I will, talk to you privately. You know that my principles and my rebellion doesn't allow me to say some things publicly. So I will reach out to you personally as soon as I can and do the needful. I have to empower this work by giving money to it. So I'm going to do that even without doing this. Even if you didn't wake me up this morning, I was still going to do that. But I want to encourage you, keep moving. The book has been dedicated by my good friend. I don't know if he's still there, James Abiono, but I saw his name on the roster.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's prayed. He's still there.